Alright, folks, Mirrorpoint turn 2, and we have our... that was the wrong button. I'm a little bit under the weather today. We have our prophets. So, Lutfaf Special, the commander of Ulm. Lulu, the commander of Sitis. Nito, the prince. Jesus, the Dranglate captain. Wow. Arrogant. Unbreakable Patches, the Lothric captain. Lucky Luciano, the Hallownest captain. Harald Hardrada, the Thane. That's a good reference. I like that reference. And Swanuth the Centurion. I'm not sure if that's a reference to anything at all. So we've got our prophets. And we fortunately have two very, very easy provinces to take. So we've got militia and heavy infantry, militia and heavy infantry. So we're sending Lucky Luciano leading his army. He's got a number of Hallownest sentries, which are not great, and a number of warrior bugs, which are actually better, weirdly, and one great sentry. He's probably going to take casualties doing this, but he's going to go take that province. And Bugsy Seagull is going to come down here and take this province, after which he'll find somewhere else to bounce out to. Since he is a flyer, of course, with map move 22, if necessary, he can hop over here. And actually, he can probably take the heavy cavalry, because there's not many of them. That's the thing. 4 or 5 heavy cavalry, like, they can probably inflict damage to him, since his prot is relatively low, since it's all invulnerability. But he'll get this Radiant Blaze attack, like, pretty... He'll be burning up squares with that attack. And it is armor piercing. And then, of course, he also has the armor piercing flame burst attack. So, actually, tell you what, that's more income and more recruitment points. Let's go there instead. And so, Lucky Luciano will take that province, then he can either push down this way to get more territory kind of claimed on this side and hopefully grab that farm, or he can swing over this way and head down, depending on how tough that province looks. We've shifted our recruitment, so we're recruiting a couple more great sentries. Actually, we may want to... It'll be at least 2 turns before we send out another gang, so we may want to do that. Stick with the warrior bugs for now. Well, it's actually about the same amount of money. Let's go ahead and do the great sentries. Great sentries are just such good units. They're really, really impressive. That defense skill 18, that's it's like elves, but they also have an enormously powerful greatsword attack. They're fantastic. And, of course, they have a castle defense bonus, which is sort of hilarious. So, that will be the plan there. We've got Noth, the Snail Shaman, researching. Water 2, fantastic. And Noth, or someone like him, will lead our first army, our first expansion group. So we've got, like I said, this will be a turn's worth of recruitment. We'll have a bunch more resources once we take those, about 40 more resources, I think. And that will enable us to get probably 2 more great sentries. So we'll have a group of like 5 or 6 great sentries plus a few warrior bugs, and that should be able to clean out this province right here, to be honest. Or I might wait 1 more turn just to make absolutely sure. But in any case, I think our expansion is going to be pretty good, and our expansion goal. Now, in a pie in the sky fever dream, our expansion goal will be to take this whole island. That said, I don't think I can. I might be the only player on the island, but there are going to be more players near the island. So if we look at the Pretenders, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 nations total. And the map size, I can't see the map size exactly, but it seems like it's a pretty large map to me. Like, for only 9 players, I think we've got pretty significant room here. So, I might be able to secure 20 provinces without anybody really getting too fussy with me. If only Bugsy Seagull could go underwater. If only he was amphibious. I would happily hop down here and wipe out these Ictiids. I mean, I can actually, once I research construction 2, I can actually forge rings of water breathing very easily. But, we'll see. We won't worry about it for now. So we're going to go take out these heavy cav. We're going to take out these provinces. And like I said, this shouldn't be a problem. That few heavy cavalry shouldn't be able to deal with me. I mean, that's like maybe 10. So maybe 3 or 4, maybe 5 squares worth of heavy cav. And Bugsy Seagull should be able to burn them down pretty quickly. And he won't take too much damage, because he does have some protection, plus he has awe. And, of course, he's ethereal. So even when he's surrounded and being hit, he won't actually take all that many hits, because some of them won't attack, and then 3/4 of them will straight up miss because of the ethereality, and then the others still have to get through kind of moderate protection. So he should be fine. And that will be our turn 2. So, see y'all in turn 3. Alright folks, turn 3 of Hallownest. It's really late at night, and really I shouldn't be doing this, but I was just about to go to bed and I saw the turn had rolled over, so I wanted to take a look at it. So, first of all, that luck 3 is paying off. I got a Moth Seer, one of my multi-heroes that I can get multiple times. Astral 2, Death 2, Flying, Spirit Side Old, unfortunately, so will tend to get afflictions, and that's really a problem because it means he might die in winter, which will be, you know, in about 9 turns here. But having that Death and Astral available early on, I mean, assuming he lives until we hit Thaumaturgy 6, this guy solves my my summoning problem. Just solves it outright. I do have Growth 3 in my Dominion, of course, so the chance of getting a disease is low, but it does still exist. In any case, Manhelt here is going to move out immediately to start site searching. Now, Garrus, since he's a spy, can see additional info. In this case, he gets to see the available magic sites in this province. So I can see that here I have Inkpot End, which is a terrible site, it just spreads diseases, and I have Lava Lake, which gives water and fire gems. That's a great site. So I do want to take this province. However, I don't know who I want to take it with, because whoever moves through there, I'll get some diseases. So I may just send Lucky Luciano down there right now. In fact, I think that's what I'm going to do. Lucky Luciano is going to cut his way through this province. Should happen with no worries. And then proceed apace. See if I can grab some land. Like if I can build a fort there, that would be fantastic. It's got 4 neighbors, probably decent resources. Having a fort here would also be nice. So I'm going to see how much land Lucky can grab. He's only got one dude, because in Aal, he only had time to recruit one. So in Aal, we took the province with very few casualties. We lost 1 sentry and 1 warrior bug. And here we can watch that fight. So you can see the warrior bugs stack up really, really dense because they're size 1. So 6 in a single square. 6 attacks coming out of a single square, 6 defense 15 units to absorb attacks. The Hallownest sentries just really don't compete. They just don't. I mean, they're size 2. That's their problem. And of course their defense skill is lower because they don't have any shield. Also, they're more vulnerable to arrows because they don't have a shield. So really, the castle defense bonus, I guess, is why you recruit these guys, if at all. But I would just, yeah, I mean, they're 3 times as effective as warrior bugs at stopping sieges, I guess, but I just really don't see why you would want them. In any case, they charge forward, they get involved. The warrior bugs with their little happy slapping attack animation just chew through the enemy, and the archers flee. So, like I said, lost 1 sentry, lost 1 warrior bug, and then in Sinafi, Bugsy Seagull went in, and we get to see how effective he is. And how effective he is very. Watch this. So he's throwing fire, gets him right there, kills 1, burns another. They come in and instantly vaporize. Because, of course, as soon as they come into melee, he's using this attack as well as this attack in melee. So he's burning through, you know, a square and more of guys every single turn. And watch what happens. These guys come in and vaporize. That's it. That's all she wrote. So Bugsy Seagull burns through the enemy very, very quickly. And, yeah, we're doing well. Come on, people. The prophet of let's have some fun. Okay, then. Good for you. Good for you. So, Bugsy Seagull, that is an incredibly valuable province. And I am super tempted to send in Bugsy Seagull to take it, because it's 200 income. I mean, in the Middle Age, that's not super impressive, but I mean, it's 20,000 population, 200 income, before I get my growth scales on it. So, it doesn't have any resources, but it's got a couple forests right beside it. So yeah, I think I'm gonna go for the gusto. I'm gonna send in Bugsy to take the place out. He does have the Twist Fate, and he's ethereal, and he's invulnerable, so I feel like he can handle it. Meanwhile, down here, I'm actually recruiting a Soul Twister this turn, and that's because it costs 1 less resource than the Snail Shamans, and that means I can zero out my resources exactly, getting 3 Great Sentries and 5 Warrior Bugs. I have 2 Great Sentries and 2 Warrior Bugs, So next turn I'll have a small posse including 5 sentries and 7 warrior bugs, and I will give them to one of my shamans, probably Noth here since he's first on the list, and I'll send them to take this province, which I think they should be able to do. Militia really don't scare me. And so then that expansion party will be able to push out this way. Or I might wait one more turn in order to recruit one more round of people just to let them push on a little more, a little further. But what I really, really want to do is I really, really want to cut my way down to this this bridge. Because if I can take that bridge, then I will have most of the entrances to the island. And then if anyone else comes on, I should be able to hold them along like this line or so. If I can stop them at that line, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, that would be a decent grip of territory. Ideally, of course, I take that, I take this, and down here, I take these, and then I also hop Bugsy Seagull with his map move 22 flying. I hop him over here, carve my way over to this side, and claim this as my territory as well. And if I can make those claims fast enough, I should be able to get the whole island. Now, this island is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 provinces. So if I can get that, I'll be in really, really good shape and just fort the hell out of everything. That is a farmland, so that would be nice to have. And of course, if I can get a fort here, I mean, ideally, I'd even get this whole neck if I'm wishing. If I'm wishing, I might as well wish to have all of that. Plus that, and this, and these two. But, you know, as they say, if wishes were fishes, then no one would ever go hungry, or however that phrase goes. So, yeah, I think we're in a pretty good spot. This is what I mean by Hallownest expansion being easy. These guys just, I mean, yeah, those weren't terribly hard provinces. Like, this is a really weak province, but even so, we're carving through them very, very quickly, and with very few casualties. And this expansion party should be able to cut through here and probably at least another couple provinces before it has to stop, just because great sentries are so tough and warrior bugs are such good chaff. So I think we should be able to manage it. What I am going to do here is we're going to alternate in like that. So that will affect how they deploy on the battlefield, and it should mean that they deploy a little bit more nicely. Unfortunately, the warrior bugs are slow, so the great sentries tend to go in first. The only way to really stop that is to actually deploy the warrior bugs separately a little ahead. But I kind of want them in the same squad, because then the great sentries' morale helps kick up the warrior bugs' morale. Although, to be honest, because they've got the inspirational on the snail shamans, so that already buffs their leadership. Yeah, I might deploy them in separate squads, I don't know. Because like right now in here, these guys have a +2 squad morale bonus because of Lucky Luciano. So their morale is doing alright. Hallownest Sentry's morale is fantastic, and of course this great sentry is just like, oh, nothing scares me, I'm big and huge. Anyway, we're doing well. Research-wise, research is not as high as it could be if I was leaving Manhelte to research, but I want to get as much value out of the site searching from Manhelte as I can. He's not going to go here to site search, because that is asking for a disease to kill him. So we are going to, he can fly, and he has decent map move, so we're going to swoop down there, site search that province, then try to hop up here and site search around this area as Lucky Luciano runs around. I wish that wasn't a mounted commander province. I wish that was a regular commander province so that I could recruit a commander. But this will probably have mounted commanders as well. Ugh. I'm going to start recruiting a mounted commander here. And it'll take 2 turns, and then he'll go over here and start building that fort. So, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in turn 4. Happy little bug people winning the day. Yay! Alright, folks, Mirrorpoint turn 4. 2 battles this turn. Both successful, and I want to show this one off in particular. Because watch what tends to happen with these units. I know I've talked a lot about how good warrior bugs are in comparison to Hallownest sentries, and I think this battle really emphasizes it. See, you've got the warrior bug blocks advancing. The sentries actually move out ahead of them, which isn't great. And the sentries make contact first, and they take some damage in that initial engagement. And then look, watch these 2 squares right here. Notice how as soon as the warrior bugs swing, both squares vanish, because they get 6 swings per square. So 6 attacks per square is very high attack density. It's the same attack density as, you know, dual-wielding human units. And they just, even though the attacks are not particularly high quality, they're more than good enough. So the warrior bugs just swarm through the enemy infantry. The heavy infantry provide a little bit of resistance because they have high enough prot that the warrior bug and the sentry attacks don't commonly do a whole lot of damage. And then the warrior bugs swarm up here and chew up the archers. So you can see here, the great sentry got 1 kill, the warrior bugs got 11 and lost 4, and the Hallownest sentries got 12 but lost 6. They ablate away a lot more quickly. And then in Wolfen Plain did indeed have quite a few cavalry, but Bugsy Seagull was up to the challenge. So we've got a nice little block of heavy cavalry down here, and they come charging in. Bugsy is dropping flame on them, hitting them with that hot fire, showing them his mixtape, and they charge in. The awe basically keeps firing off to prevent anyone in melee from attacking. He does take some damage from arrows, but he doesn't overall take much damage at all. Not Frederick the Priest. I want to look at Bugsy Seagull. So you can see here, missed, repelled. He can repel with a flame burst, hilariously. He actually hit there with a hoof, but for no damage. Hit for no damage because of ethereal. Missed, on negated, etc., 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 etc. In terms of what actually causes damage to him, arrows, basically. And the ethereal negates most of those. So yeah, Bugsy Seagull just rips through these guys with no hesitation. That heavy cavalry is a true hero of his people. He survived several rounds. And then Bugsy Seagull drops firebombs on people as they flee. Good job, Bugsy. So 21 kills, wiped the province out. Yeah, 12 heavy cavalry. That was actually a fairly tough province. And we have hit conjuration level 1, so we're on our way to our goals. So we've taken Wolfen Plain. We've also taken Inorime. Now, unfortunately, you know, I said Inkpot End spreads diseases. It has a percentage chance, I forget exactly what the percentage chance, to give any unit in the province a disease at the end of the turn. And so, of course, it diseased my Great Sentry. Because of course it would. Of course it does. So, yeah, he's going to die. But this army can still push on a little bit further. We're going to grab Wick Forest, and hopefully we're also going to grab 1 or 2, at least, of the other provinces around it. I don't really want to send reinforcing armies through Inorime because I don't want them to pass through Inkpot End. The positioning of that site is hugely, hugely unfortunate. But, I mean, it is what it is, and at least I get some gems from the province, right? I'll remote site search it later in the game. Manhelti is site searching EL for sites, and we're deploying our 3rd expansion group under Noth with 6 Great Sentries and 7 warrior bugs to provide just a little bit of chaff for them. So we're going down here, we're going to cut through Ulman, and then hopefully we'll take at least 2 or 3 more of these provinces and lock this down. I don't think I'm going to really try to push further, that might be too greedy, but I'm going to try and clean up these 5 provinces. Meanwhile, Bugsy Seagull is going to grab those 2 provinces, and then he's going to hop backwards in order to take that province and cut over towards the river in an effort to secure this province, because if I can secure that province, then if I can secure that province and these 2 provinces, then I have the whole island, and 20 provinces of island would be great. Can't quite hop there in 1 turn. I could, if I felt like being risky, I could hop here and then there immediately, and that would be a very interesting, like, that would be the kind of go for the gusto strategy, but it wouldn't enable me to secure these provinces, which will be really, really valuable to Wolfen Plain in terms of resources. I think what I might do is I might just grab that province and then hop, because I really do want to get over there quickly. I mean, if by turn, because that's turn 5, 6, and then I think 7. If I can hit that province by turn 7, I might have a shot at taking it. I don't know where any of my competitors are, of course, is one issue. So, yeah. Kind of have to see what's going on. Garrus is going to keep pushing forward in order to try and find somebody for me. And I'd like to recruit more scouts, but I don't really have the time. So I'm just pumping out snail shamans who will lead expansion parties. Actually, I'm going to cancel those guys out in order to get more Great Sentries. Next turn, I should be able to recruit another Great Sentry or 2, so I should be pumping out 4 per turn or so. And yeah, it'll be pretty rad, guys. It is going to be a good old time. So yeah, Bugsy Siegel's going to grab those provinces before hopping back. I'd love to claim the island. I really would. We'll see. We'll see if I can do it. I think I might be able to do it. If nothing else, this early in the game, I don't think most people will actually be able to stop Bugsy Siegel. Now, some of them do have magical weapons, and magical weapons would be hugely unfortunate, but Skyrim doesn't. The Golden Republic doesn't. Orem doesn't have magical weapons. Ulm doesn't really, except on the Guardians, which they probably have not recruited many, if any, of yet. The Royal Guard have magical weapons. Well, actually, they're not magical. Only the Sunlight Blade effect is magic, but it is magical shock damage, so that would be very, very devastating. Where's Anor Londo? These guys have magic weapons, so if it's Anor Londo, I will not be able to stop an Anor Londo Sacred Expansion Party because they have magical weapons. I would be able to stop their troops, but I don't imagine they're trying to expand with their normal soldiers. I really, really don't imagine that they're trying to expand with them. They have to be expanding with Silver Knights. And of course, Satis does not have magical weapons either, unless they've taken a magical weapons bless. So I think Bugsy Siegel has good odds of being able to push somebody back off the island if necessary. But hopefully it won't come to that. So that is, in fact, that might be getting too greedy. I mean, I can get some support from those provinces. So in fact, Bugsy, just hop over this way right now. Take Gold Mountains, and then we'll burn rubber over towards 109, but in a more sedate way where we can cut through provinces like that and make sure that we know what we're attacking every turn. Yeah, that's probably the better play. Okay, so that'll be the plan. And I will see you all then in turn 5. Alright, folks, Mirrorpoint turn 5. 3 battles this turn. Didn't find any magic sites, unfortunately. But in Wick Forest, we wiped out a whole bunch of Deer Tribe with very little casualties, by way of casualties. 5 casualties total. Once again, the Hallownest sentries are bleeding away far more quickly than anything else. Gold Mountains, we took out a small heavy cavalry province with the Radiants. And in Alman, our smallest expansion party stomped all over some indies. This is why great sentries are so nice, because they just walk in and murder stuff. And it doesn't really matter what you do to them, hardly. So, they waltzed in, murdered a bunch of stuff, everyone ran away. Good job. Now, here's the news this turn. This is the news. We have found Drangleich, or Drangleich, or however you pronounce that. In any case, we've taken hold of Wick Forest, which was my sort of minimum goal, and now we have Drangleich to our south. However, this province is independent, and so are these two, which indicates that they actually came from over here, somewhere. That means they probably are going to get the new coast, but I think I can take Dubros and hold at least this triangle. In which case, Wick Forest will still be a very solid fort site. So I am moving my commander, Urban, down to Wick Forest in order to build that, and Lucky Luciano is going to go over here and attack Dubros, which once again is just Deer Tribe, and I should be able to carve through the Deer Tribe pretty well. With 1 star, we're up to 16 defense on our warrior bugs. And of course, our Great Sentry is dying. Shed a tear for the poor Great Sentry, but we'll do alright. Up here, we're pushing Bugsy Siegel over towards 109 in an effort to secure the island. I'm not sure what's going to be our weakest spot. Down here, it's 60 units. Now, a lot of them are Markata, and Markata suck. But they also have a whole bunch of Markata archers and Atavi archers, and I'm looking at this really small gang going, might not be able to stand being shelled by a whole bunch of archers, even crappy archers. Archers are kind of the warrior bug weakness. Since their prot is low, if they get the shell in the way with its parry value, then that's really useful. That stops arrows pretty well, but even so, random scatterings of arrows can pick away at them pretty well. I mean, this army can probably go into 60 monkeys and win, but what I'm really worried about is monkeys leaking around the edge of the box and killing Noth. Either a random arrow or monkeys killing Noth and losing expansion. So instead what I'm going to do is, I'm going up here, I'm going to take this province. Meanwhile, I'm moving out a very small additional expansion party with Ladar down to Alman, and then I'm going to send them both into Gwilladun just to make sure that I can take the place. And Bugsy Siegel, of course, is powering over towards 109. And up here, I've got my first scout being recruited. And I should have the money to start building forts pretty soon. I'm not sure whether I'm going to put my first one in Wolfen Plain or in Wick Forest. Wolfen Plain will get me more money. Wick Forest will get me forest shamans and a better position in some ways. We'll see. I might put the first one in Wolfen Plain and then the second one down there. It's turn 5, so I should be starting my next thing pretty quickly. In fact, I may cut down on recruitment right now and just churn out a whole bunch of warrior, but well, let's say down to 300 there. So I churn out a whole bunch of warrior bugs and a couple of great sentries. I actually only need 2 each, like that. And that will kind of keep a little bit of recruitment going while I also save up money. So next turn I should have the money to throw down my first palisade, and then the turn after that, hopefully I'll have enough for yet another. I'm going to leave these provinces for right now. That's a high income province, so I will want that. But not going to take them at the moment because Bugsy Siegel needs to get over here. Once I have a second recruitment, another expansion party, it'll head up this way and clear Ramacia, which should only take a couple turns of recruitment. So what I'm thinking is, go down here, transfer all the troops to 1 Snail Shaman. Shaman comes back. Actually, probably Shaman just starts site searching at that point, and a newly recruited Shaman leads 2 or 3, probably 3 turns of this recruitment up north to take Ramacia and then Cormark. And that should be good. I should be able to lock down the island pretty effectively. And I probably won't take 52. I'll probably just take these provinces, so boom, 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 and then head north to fill in the gaps behind 109, and we'll meet Bugsy Siegel somewhere in the middle, or possibly Bugsy will go over here and then hop back, clear those 2, and then try to take those 2. I've sent diplomatic overtures to Drangleic, but they haven't responded yet, because it is right after the turn proct. So, let's take a look at them, shall we? Dark Souls 2 is the best DS game, is the Pretender of Drangleic. Drangleic has, as you see here, a lot of astral, good death. It also has some blood. And its blood, it says weak blood. That's not true. Its blood is actually pretty good. So their blood is these Acolytes of Aldea. They cost 120 gold for guaranteed blood 1, 50% chance of blood 2. That's pretty good blood. That's not bad blood at all. That's a good enough blood to be a major blood nation. And now, Acolytes of Aldea do have Population Killer 20, which is really kind of a bummer for blood hunters. But as long as you spread them thinly, which you can do since this is a middle-aged game, they're going to have, you know, a lot of viable blood hunting provinces. So as long as you spread them thinly, it will make your blood hunting more damaging, but not hugely more damaging. I mean, in a 10,000 population province, if you have growth 3, which you always should, you're growing at 6 out of every 1,000, so you're growing at, 60 people per turn. Population Killer 20 is a third of your growth, and 1 or 2 Blood 2 Hunters, you will still probably be trending down, but only very, 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 very slowly. So the Acolytes of Aldea are still quite decent blood hunters for the price, and definitely worth it to have a lot of blood. They're also adept crossbreeders, so they can spam a whole bunch more chaff. In terms of other magic, they've got High Clerics, who are Tier 1. I talked about them a little bit earlier. The Black Sorcerers are, of course, the best. Definitely the best. And Drangleic Soulsmiths, who are also really good mages. 175 for 4 paths is good enough, but when those paths are Astral 2, Earth 1, and then a random that can include Death or Fire, that's really, really good. And they have national spells, I believe, that allow them to summon golems. And these guys have national spells that enable them to create Primal Knights and who knows what else. And then they also have these Raiders. So overall, the thing that's worrying right now is the Cyan Knights. Now, I think I can beat Cyan Knights, depending on their bless. If they've taken a super heavy bless, maybe not. But if it was me, I wouldn't take a super heavy bless for these guys. I'd take kind of like a utility bless of some kind and let it go. They do have the Sunlight Blade shock damage effect, so that's a little bit worrying, but still, I think my Great Sentries can beat them. Now, this army down here only has 1 Great Sentry, but to be honest, I think my Warrior Bugs can also beat them, because my Warrior Bugs have high enough defense to be unlikely to be hit. And if they are hit, I'm only losing a Warrior Bug, right? So yeah, their odds are well less than 50% to actually hit. And if they hit, they're going to kill them, obviously. But if they don't hit, then they're going to be taking 6 attacks back per turn, and even though the damage is significantly lower than their prot, 6 attacks will chop through human HP pretty quickly. If this army and my little expansion party fought, I think they'd win, but I can very easily push out a horde of bugs to drive them back. So I would like to make peace with Drangleic and just let them kind of take their land and let me take my land and build a fort and all that, but if they really want to fight, I can fight. I wouldn't want to pull Bugsy Seagull down, but I could redirect this little gang to come down here, and I could spam out a ton more bugs, like many more than I'm recruiting right. In fact, let me just do that. Let me just buff my recruitment very slightly. I could spam out a ton more bugs and shove them down here very easily. So I'm not too worried. Not too worried about it. Up here, as I said, scout going out, and that is the turn. Research-wise, research is still slow. I will be hitting Conjuration 2 pretty soon, which won't really help me yet, but we'll be getting there. We will get there someday. Level 3 is, of course, the big one where I can cast Phoenix Power, Phoenix Power is a different and much more powerful spell, and summon lesser fire elementals and water elementals. There's not really much else I can do at level 3. Oh, I can awaken Vinemen with my nature randoms. So I can spam out Chaff if I want, but to be honest, my national Chaff is already so efficient, I can't picture myself ever really summoning a whole bunch of Chaff. My national Chaff is just so good. So that's the turn. We'll see what Drangleic wants to do. We're really hoping they don't want to fight. And I would be content with taking these provinces. Like I said, the island is more than my fair share of land, so I'm okay with taking the island. Like, if I get the whole island, fine, you can have all this, dude. You can have all of that, as long as I get the whole island in that little corner that I've taken out. If I could get that little corner, I'd appreciate that too, but that's negotiable. So in any case, that's been turn 5, and we'll see y'all in turn 6.